I just want to start by saying it's a blessing to be able to be here with you all this evening, coming from all over different parts of the world. So thank you so much. Thank you to God for blessing us with such an occasion, and you know, allowing me to be able to share what experiences that I've gained over the many years of being a professional performer with you all. And for me, that's what it's all about this evening, is showing you all the tips and the tricks and the basics that'll help you get started. So, you know, I know we've got a bit of a mixture of levels here this evening. We've got some who have never played before, and we've got some who can actually play, and you know, and everyone else in between. And the whole basis of tonight is to start from the very beginning and just work our way toward being able to. We're going to achieve quite a lot of stuff. So just being able to work toward the evening, so that, you know, we know things like how to hold our ukulele, how to tune it, how to read a chord diagram, how to do many things. So having the opportunity for me to be able to do this and share all my experience with you all, is I just really am grateful and appreciative to be in this position to do it. So good evening, folks. Welcome to our first online series for beginners. It's probably going to take us, I've worked out, about 6 weeks to, you know, only 6 lessons to skill you with enough information and enough tools to be able to move to the next step, which would be intermediate. So that might surprise you. So whether you have played before, or whether you're actually a good player, you know, our goal is to be able to start tonight, and at the end of 6 weeks, be able to play a song like Hotel California, or even Bohemian Rhapsody. So that's my goal. I'm very confident that we can do all that. And, you know, there's just a few things that we've got to get in place. And what I want from you, which is what I put in the email, is just to be patient with everything. So my approach to teaching is very technical, but it's very slow. I really enjoy the idea of absorbing as much as you can when you're practicing something, or when you're trying to go through it, because that's what worked for me. For me to be able to play solos and various songs, I had to slow everything right down, and slowing it down was probably one of the main key elements that helped me grow as a player really quickly. And the other is practice. I need you to practice. And I don't need you to practice much or for too long. I just need you to put some practice in as often as you can. Without a doubt, we're going to go through and show you all of that this evening. And that's what I need from you in order for us to be able to play a song like Hotel California or Bohemian Rhapsody. And when I say play a song, I'm not talking about playing melodies. I'm talking about playing the chords and just getting those basic fundamentals for us to be able to do that. So we start off with, you know, how to buy one. So is anyone here, does everyone own their own ukulele, or are you borrowing one? If you wanted to buy one, my suggestion is, you're looking for 2 things. It's best to buy hands-on as opposed to online. I mean, you really don't know what you're getting until you put it in your hands. And there are 2 main things that I look for. One is how it feels in your hand, and the other is how it sounds. And I'm not a brand person. I don't go for brand names like Fender or Gibson or Maton or even Canalea. I'm not into brands. What I go for is what really suits me. And that's the whole approach of the whole playing. game for me. Everything's got to suit me, not what someone else feels. It's how I feel. So when you're in a shop and you're looking for one, so obviously the look is a part of it, but it's not the main part. So if you find one and you like the look of it, grab it and then just see how it feels inside your hand. The neck, this is your neck. They're different depths, so you know you got to feel for how it's going to sit inside your hand. But one of the main aspects you're looking for is the pressure of the strings. If you have to push down on the strings pretty hard, even if it's one finger, that means the action's a bit too high off the fretboard. If it's pretty soft in your hands when you're pushing down, that's sort of what I would go for. So the least amount of resistance, the better. And sound, with your sound, there is no doubt that a lot of them all sound, you know, they all have different sounds. I like a nice big sound. And a couple of things could be a factor to a big sound. The make of the materials that are used, the size, and also the strings. The strings, if the strings are a bit too thin, you can end up with a thin sound. I really like a nice big, warm, bright, full sound. So I'm looking for that. Even if you can't play, if you just hold the ukulele up and you just strum across all the strings and just try a couple, you'll start noticing that there would be one in there with a sound that you enjoy. And so I go for those two areas. And then the look, well, if you get one that looks good, then that's great. And if you get one at the right price, then that's good also. But the two main elements are how it feels and how it sounds. Now, with regard to how to hold your ukulele, ultimately, for me, the best way is to use the strap. And if you go into any ukulele store, they'll either sell you these little posts that you can put on your ukulele and you can install them yourself, or they'll put them in for you. And if you don't have one, don't worry, because a lot of people don't when they first start. For me, I really enjoy playing with even when I'm sitting down, I love having my strap on. It just takes all the awkwardness away from trying to hold your ukulele up while you're trying to play your chord shapes and strum. So I've got my ukulele on my lap at the moment, but that's good when you're sitting down. But when you're standing up, you just use your strumming hand and tuck it in under your forearm into your elbow. And I've got this is a base of your ukulele, the body. I've got my right hand sitting on the shoulder. And like I said, everything has just got to be comfortable for me. And I'm pretty happy with it there. I'm just finding my comfort spot right now. And that takes care of this part, which is going to be holding the body. My chord hand, I'm just going to tuck it in this V part here of my chord hand, the neck. And it's going to be up here where this little part here is called the nut. And you'll see all these the names and diagram of your ukulele in these parts here on your diagrams that I emailed to you. If you don't have those diagrams, just send me a message and I'll make sure you get them. But it's all about just being comfortable. So ukulele tucked under my arm, and I'm comfortable with that strumming action there. A lot of people think this is our sound hole, and a lot of people think that we have to strum over the sound hole. I don't think that's the case at all. I strum where my hand is, where my hand falls. If you move your hand closer to the sound hole, the brighter the sound gets. So if you want a particular sound, you might want to move your hand, strum your hand back to that area. But I'm pretty that sound and just the comfort of it all. And that's a pretty basic description of how to hold your ukulele. And if you don't have one, if you can organize one, and try and do that, it'll be a game changer for you. Okay, we're going to move into how to tune our ukulele. Now, all the strings, your fingers and the frets, they all have names, and the strings have numbers as well. So I'm going to start with the strings, starting with the top string, the one closest to my chin. That's string number 4. The one directly below it is string number 3. And the one below that is string number 2. And the one below that, closest to the floor, is string number 1. So 4, 3, 2, 1. Now the strings have a name. And string number 4 is G. String number 3 is C. String number 2 is E. And string number 1 is A. So G, C, E, A. Now we do have a baritone ukulele player among us, and the baritone is tuned differently. So I had a brief meeting with Kylie just before we started here, and we've gone through and put her on the right track of what her string names are, but the numbers are still the same. So if you're a baritone player, send me a message, because that wouldn't make sense here, what I just said to you. So please let me know. However, if you own a concert, soprano, or a tenor ukulele, this is the perfect pitch tuning for you. I'll go through it one more time. String number 4, G. String number 3, C. String number 2, E. String number 1, A. And the acronym I use for all my children and myself is Good Children Eat Apples, just to help me remember what the pitch is. So why have they got those names? That's what we've got to tune. That's what we've got to tune the ukulele to, is to that tuning, or that name of that pitch. And so if you have a clip-on tuner, which is probably the most common tool everyone uses, and if you don't,
listening there, record, pressing the button. Sorry.
Well, that's okay. I can't see everyone. I wish I could. And if anyone wants to ask me a question, please just unmute your microphone and ask. So if you have any questions, don't be afraid to jump in and ask. And we saw Heather there with her tuner, and it only has a microphone. It picks up the vibration of the string. So the clip-on tuner, you get them online quite easily at any music store. They just simply clip onto the headstock. This piece here is your headstock. These here are the posts where you have your string through. And this wooden piece here is the headstock. So we just put our tuner on the headstock, turn it on, and we have a little display window there. can't really see if that's coming up okay on there. Anyway, what it does is it picks up the vibration of the string, and it will tell you if it's in tune or not by indicating with either a needle or lights moving to the center. If it's in the center, then that's right on. It'll also tell the name of the string. Now, there are a couple of pitfalls with using a tuner, and that is they also tune to, so the top string, string number 4 is G. They also tune to G sharp, and G sharp is a completely different note. And if you tune it to G sharp, you will not be in tune. So you've got to be careful when you tune, and it'll also tune to a flat as well. It can tune you to G flat, and the same problem will happen. You won't be in tune properly. Now there is a hash which indicates a sharp, and a little b which indicates a flat. And that's one of the pitfalls of using these. So you've just got to be careful to make sure if you're tuning to G, make sure there's not a hash or a little flat beside it, or any of the other strings actually. And then you just go ahead, take your time, and just go through and tune each string with your clip-on tuner. Now on that note, I'm just going to let you know this is a 5-string tenor. So I've got a high G and a low G. And I specifically asked for that to be added to this ukulele. They're pretty common, and the reason why I wanted it added was just so I could have a low sound when I did this riff. I really did buy this ukulele, request this ukulele for this riff. Folsom Prison Blues. It wouldn't sound the same if I had a high-pitched G. So that's a very basic run-through on how to tune your ukulele. The clip-on tuners are great. So now we know the names and the numbers of our strings. So we'll go to our chord hand. Our thumb is a thumb. We don't call it anything else. Our index finger is number 1. Our middle finger, number 2. Ring finger, number 3. And our pinky is number 4. So thumb, 1, 2, 3, 4. And our frets, all our frets are numbered. We're only going to worry about the first 4. So these fret wires here, so we go 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. And the reason why we love these names and numbers is because this is how we communicate with each other, whether it's just through a chord diagram or someone speaking to you. And I'll give you an example of that. For our first chord we're going to learn, we're going to use finger number 3. So thumb, 1, 2, 3. And we're going to put it on the 3rd fret, 1, 2, 3, of the first string, 4, 3, 2, 1. Finger number 3, 3rd fret of string number 1. Now there's a couple of things when you place your finger down on the string, which are very important. Number 1 is we want to try and use our fingertips as much as we can. These here are our finger pads. Sometimes you've got to use them, but we really want to try and get into the habit of using our fingertips. And also, with these fret wires here, you don't place your fingers on those at all. What you do is you place them behind the fret wire. So when I say behind, I mean heading back toward the tuning pegs or the nut. When I say move forward, I'm meaning move forward toward the sound hole, moving up the neck, and moving toward the keys or the nut, we're moving backwards. So fingertips are very important. And making sure you actually don't put your fingers on those frets. They've got to be placed just behind them. With the chord shape, your thumb is probably the busiest part on your hand because it has to support your fingers when you're playing a note or a chord. And its job is to help your fingers squeeze down on the fretboard. Now, what we're trying to achieve here when we play our chord shapes is a nice, clean, clear sound. You really want those strings to sing. You want them to ring out. And if you don't have enough pressure on your strings, we're going to end up with that sound. And if we don't use our fingertips for some of our chord shapes, we're going to end up with this sound. What happens is when we use our finger pads, our fingers lie down across the strings. But as soon as you use your fingertips, all of a sudden, your fingers stand up, and that's the habit we want to try and create. And that allows all your strings to ring, sing, nice and clear. Okay, so a quick refresh. Strings. G, number 4. C, number 3. E, number 2. A, number 1. Our fingers. Thumb. 1, 2, 3, 4. Frets. 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. When we place our fingers down on the strings to play a chord or a note, we use our fingertips. And we place our fingers just behind the frets. Otherwise, we won't end up with a clear sound. And again, our thumb, probably the most crucial part. Like a silent partner working really hard in the background. Okay, so that's how to tune, and I've actually gone straight in and named the strings, the frets, and your fingers for you as well. So that's how we communicate. So I'm going to get everyone, please, to play me a C chord. And I'm going to let you know how to do it. I'm going to tell you how to do it. So put your thumb behind your neck. And just while we're on the subject of the thumb, sometimes my thumb sticks up in the air like this, and it's mainly when I'm sort of in playing some certain shapes, but most of the time, my thumb is working around this part here, the middle of the neck. And it's sort of, some of the positions you'll find your thumb is running in line with the ukulele neck on an angle. And pretty much always in this middle region. And its job really is to make sure it's behind those fingers. So if you have a sound that isn't working for you and you can't work out why, so you've got really good high fingers, your fingertips, using your fingertips, and your fingers aren't on the frets and you still haven't got a good sound, you want to maybe consider adjusting your thumb. That might be one of the causes. Okay, let's get back to the chord. So we're going to play the C chord. We're going to go to string number 1, string closest to the floor. We're going to use our third finger, tip, and we're going to place it on the 3rd fret. So 1, 2, 3. And just with our thumb, we're going to do a downstroke across all the strings. Nice. Who has never played before? Is there anyone there that has never played the ukulele ever before? Oh, great. Marilyn, how are you? Oh, yeah, a couple of years. Do you want to, are you brave enough to play us your C chord?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Lovely. One more time. Yeah. Easy as that. Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you. Now we're going to move to strumming. So there's a few options on strumming. One is you use your thumb for your down, up strokes. It's not one of my favorites, using your thumb, but a lot of beginners do like to use it, and that's fine. I just find it a little bit difficult to control myself. You can use your first finger, which is what I use a lot. So down, up. And the action for strumming, what you want to achieve when you're strumming is you just want to glide evenly across all the strings. So you want a nice even action across all the strings. You don't want to miss any out. That's both on your down and your upstroke. So we have our thumb, we have our first finger. Now we can use our thumb and first finger. So the thumb does the downstroke and your finger does the upstroke. Also, when you're strumming, you don't want to strum too hard. 10 being the hardest and 1 being the softest. So we want to try and gauge halfway. 5 out of 10 is good. So you work out what halfway is. So you strum as hard as you can, that's 10. And then you strum as soft as you can, that's 1. You really want to go halfway. And we just want to get used to what it feels like to go nice and easily across all those strings. So also you want to, you can use your thumb and first finger, squeeze together as if you're holding a pick. Same thing, down, up. Now you're going to be using a lot of nail when you use those two. So a little bit aggressive for me, that sound. However, a lot of people do it, which is fine. And another option is actually using a pick. And with a pick, you want to sort of have the pointy end facing toward the strings. And you also want to have the pointy end facing up when you're doing a downstroke. Down when you're doing an upstroke. And the reason why is so you don't get your pick caught in the strings. You just want it to glide across all the strings. And that's the same when you use your thumb or your finger. You don't want anything getting stuck in there. You just want a nice even glide. Okay, so I'm going to give you a few seconds to work out what suits you, and then we're going to all play a C chord together. Now, just on the note of the pick, I do have a batch of picks And when I do workshops, I hand them out. But I've run out. And what I did is I just grabbed an ice cream container lid and I just cut some picks out using that shape. They sort of weren't that shape, they were a shape. But yeah, if you wanted to use one, just make your own. And you can make them different sizes too when you're doing yourself. Okay, everyone ready? So what we're going to do is we are going to play to a metronome. 44 beats per minute is a really good speed. Let's get that metronome going. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear the metronome. Great. So I like counting in. It gives everyone an idea of how fast everything is. And it'll also let you know when we're going to come in. So I'll count 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we start on the next beat. We always start with a downstroke. 1, 2, 3, 4. So everyone grab your C chord, please. I'll count us in and let's have a strum together. 1, 2, 3, 4. Downstroke. 1, 2, 3, 4. And again. 1, 2, 3, 4. And again. 1, 2, 3, 4. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. And stop there. So that's an exercise you can do at home. 44 beats per minute. And you see if you can do it for a minute. See if you can play along to a metronome and keep in time for 1 minute. And while you're doing that, what you're concentrating on also is how consistent are you at keeping your strumming action nice and easy across all those strings. Not too loud, not too hard, not too fast, not too slow. So that's what you're working on. You're working toward being able to strum in time with your metronome, and you really want to try and focus on finding out where that 5 out of 10 is, and that nice easy glide over every strum. And a minute, my challenge is a minute. Please do that when you practice and let me know how you go. So that there is very simple strumming, and that's what I call level 1 strumming. I won't even go into level 2 yet. What we're going to do right now is we're going to have a look at our chord diagram. So now that you know the name of the strings, the number of your fingers in the frets, we're going to now look at how to read a chord diagram. So I don't know how this is going to work. And what I mean by that is I'm trying to work out how do I've just turned everyone off. How do I do a screenshot on this thing? Have you all got your chart? Did you all print out your chart? Okay, some of you are left-handed. I'm going to use a right-handed chord diagram. So when we look at our chart, we're looking at it as if we were looking at as if our ukulele was facing us. That's the way we look at our chart. So I'm using a right-handed one here. And you can see the frets. Frets are the horizontal lines and the strings are the vertical lines. And you can see a thick line at the top of the diagram. You'll see the name of the chord, a thicker line, and then the vertical lines and the horizontal lines following that. You'll also see a black dot, and the dot there shows us where to place our fingers. And the number on the dot shows us, tells us which finger to use. So you can see the C chord. Now, if you can work out the C chord, please go to the A minor chord and see if you can find that chord for me. So you've got to grab your second finger. So with our right hand ukulele players, it's string number 4, the one closest to your chin, on the second fret, using string number, finger number 2. Everyone all good? Give me a thumbs up if you've got it. Oh yeah, that's brilliant. Nice. All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to strum our A minor for 4 bars. I'll count us in. Get our metronome going. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. A minor. Down, up, down, up, down. And again. Down, up, down, up. One more time. Down, up, down, up, and stop there. So we're going to move to the next chord on our diagram. Is everyone okay reading that diagram? Please unmute your microphone and let me know. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep going. So we're going to move to...
I don't actually have the diagram.
Okay, who was this?
It's Lee. I don't actually have the diagram. So I managed to guess the A minor chord because I've done a little bit of playing, but yeah. Nice
one, Lee.
Yeah, I'm the same too, Vic. I didn't receive the diagram either.
Who said that?
It's named Julie, but it's actually Lyndon.
Okay, Lyndon, I'm not sure what's happened. I really do wish I could. Can anyone tell me how I can share this diagram that I'm looking at on my screen?
Are you sharing screen, Vic? Have you got your screen up? You press share screen down the bottom. So whatever screen you want to use.
You know, I did see it earlier, but I can't actually see it now.
Oh.
So I'm looking all over the place for it. And
just scroll your cursor just on at the bottom of the screen.
Yeah.
Scroll your cursor at the bottom of the screen and it comes up. It's a green arrow facing upwards.
oh, there
Get
you
your cursor.
go. I don't know what I was looking at. I certainly wasn't looking at you guys. There we are. So I'm going to push share. So I really hope I don't have anything I don't want you to see on here.
In the meantime, Vic, by your permission, I can share the document on the chat for the others to download.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you. Thank you, Mario.
Okay, you're welcome.
Oh, I don't know what I'm doing.
It's all good, bro. Sweet is.
Yeah, well, I'll work this out for next time. Okay, well, congratulations to those of you who worked it out. So if you want to have a look at the screen, here's A minor for those who don't have a chart. Finger number 2, your middle finger. On the 2nd fret, 1, 2 of the 4th string. One closest to my chin. That's A minor. And I can tell you, that thumb there is doing a good job. Help me press that finger down. Now we're going to move to the F chord. So hold your A minor chord shape. Don't take your finger off, but add your 1st finger to the 2nd string, which is the 2nd one from the bottom, of the 1st fret. So finger number 1 on the 2nd string of the 1st fret, and finger number 2 is still playing A minor. Only now that we've added another note, that's now become F. So let's strum our F chord. 1, 2, 3, 4. Down, up, down, up, down, up. 2 more times. Last one. 3, 4, and stop. All right. Well done, everyone. We're going to go through those 3 chords together now. So we're going to start with C, and we're only going to do 2 bars of C. 2 bars means like 8 strums, or 2 lots of 4. So 2 bars of C, 2 bars of A minor, and 2 bars of F. So we're going to string those 3 chords together. And this will start us off on transitioning from one chord to the next. So, everyone ready? So C, A minor, then F. 1, 2, 3, C. 1, 2, 3, 4. And again. 1, 2, 3, 4. A minor. 1, 2, 3, 4. And again. 1, 2, 3, 4. F. Add your first finger. 2, 3, 4. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. And stop there. So for our beginners, that's a great way to practice your chord shapes, your strumming, and your chord transition now. So to make it easy from one chord to the next, what I like to do is I like to try and memorize what the chord looks like, which sort of helps. And what I'm supposed to do. So, you know, I get really, I really do hone in, zoom in on what it is I'm trying to achieve. So if I'm going from C to A minor, I'm now looking at the movement of my 3rd finger and what my 2nd finger is doing in relation to me, for me to stay in time and play the next chord. So when I do the same with A minor to F. So my 1st finger is always all ready to play the next note to add for F. So I'm getting ready before we get to the chord that we have to play. And for me to get used to it, I'll go slower than 44 beats per minute. I won't use the metronome. I will do it like this. I'll go like this to practice that transition. and really start trying to memorize that action while I'm teaching these two fingers a new habit. Just one strum. Now we go from A minor to F, back to A minor. Now I got to say, you're probably going to think, oh man, that's painfully slow. But yeah, it's a, if you can take on doing it that slow, it just helps you, really does help you absorb that information a lot quicker. Well, it does for me anyway. So when I have to play, you know, solos, when I have to play little intricate parts, I don't play them that fast straight away. I've got to slow it right down so I work out exactly what it is I've got to play. And you don't need to do it that slow all the time. Once you get used to it, it won't take you long, and then you'll start getting used to absorbing that information a lot quicker. But that's just a suggestion that works really well for me. So with that, we're going to go to the G7 chord now. And we're going to hold our F chord shape. So everyone play me an F. We're not going to strum the F. We're just going to work on getting from F to G7, because that's the next chord in the chord progression. We're going to go C, A minor, F, and now G7. So with our F chord, our second finger has to come down to the third string, but stay on the same fret. So that's a habit you want to get used to. And even doing this is a big help. Getting your fingers to move individually. So we're going to bring our second finger down to the third string on the second fret. And then we have to add our third finger to the first string of the second fret. So we've got both fingers on that second fret. Now for anyone starting out, and especially for those with big hands and big fingers, it's going to be a lot of work to try and get them in there. So what I do is I tilt the palm of my hand away from the neck, and that gives me more room to place my third finger down on that first string. So I'm going to go to F. See how my hand took a change in position then? So F, now G7. See how it just turned away? And that's to allow my third finger to fit on that second fret. So back to F. Moving away. It's just a habit now. It does it on its own. So we've got C, A minor, F, and now we've got G7. So for the next 20 or so seconds, just practice going from F to G7. F to G7. Okay. So what we're going to do now is we're going to strum F for 2 bars, and then we're going to move to G7 for 2 bars. 44 beats per minute. One, 2, 3, 4, F, down, 2, 3, 4, and again, 1, 2, 3, to G7, 1, go back to F. 1, 2, 3, 4. One more time. 1, 2, 3. G7. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we'll stop there. So I don't know how you went, but you know what you can do is now practice. That's the hardest chord progression in this combination of chords. C and A minor, nice and easy. F, you know, we just have to add a finger to that. But going from F to G7, there's a whole shift of your fingers, so it's the toughest, makes it the toughest one for beginners. So when you practice, don't probably practice that quickly. Maybe just go F and just practice at a speed that's comfortable for you to land the next chord. F to G7. And with that, that's how we're going to practice all our chord transitions, going from one to the other. When you're playing a song like Dumb Things, for those of you who don't know, that song is an Australian iconic song written by a gentleman called Paul Kelly. It's called Dumb Things if you want to have a look it up, and it's got all the chords that we play. Well, it's got a couple of other chords in there, but all the ones that we're learning now are in there. So I'm using it as an example. This chord I'm playing now is E minor. We're going to learn this one next week. Now, that's not the speed. I'll give you an idea of the speed of that song. So we're going to have fun doing that, and we'll definitely tackle this within the next couple of weeks, this song. But there you have it. My point is, when you go and practice a song with really fast chord changes like that, the best way to go through it is doing exactly what we're doing here. Train your fingers on where to go, nice and slow. Are there any questions?
Too many.
Oh yeah, just throw one at me. Do you have a question you would like to ask?
Vic, it's Jan here.
Hi, Jan.
I was just wondering if you can just run through or just play for us Stand By Me, that song.
Oh, sure.
Your chord chart. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great question. I better bring the chord chart up so I actually play what I've written down. So level 1 is where we're at. I'll play level 1 once, and then I'll play level 2, which will be next week. And then I'll play level 3, which will be the following week, plus other stuff. So I won't play it at 44 beats per minute. I'll play it a little bit faster. Yeah, that's a good speed. 1, 2, 3, 4, C. 2, 3. 2 bars of C, 2, 3, A minor. 1, 2, 3, 4, and again. Now 1 bar of F. 1 bar of G7. 1, 2, 3, back to C for 2 bars. Now you'll see 2 dots and 2 lines. There are a repeat sign, so you go right back to the beginning and start the whole song again. A minor. Those repeat signs mean you repeat everything that's inside them. Now to the strumming pattern. F, 1 bar, G7, back to C. 1, 2, 3, 4.
I'd love you to sing with it, just one verse.
I can try. I got to be honest. I've written the song in this key because it's they're the easy chords for us to learn, but it is in a it's originally in a male key, which is G. So this one's a little bit high, but I'll try and sing it for you. But I love it because the chord progressions are really easy for us to go from one chord to the other. When the night I'm just going to add my own little bits in here now. When the night has come and the land is dark and the moon is the only light you see. No, I won't be afraid. I won't be afraid. Just as long as you stand by me. You can join in, play and sing. Darling, stand by me. Stand by me. Just as long as you stand by me. Whenever you're in trouble, won't you stand by me? Stand by me. Just as long as you stand by me. So you guys are all going to sound much better than that after 6 weeks, I guarantee it. Anyway, look, that brings us to the end of our session here today. Thanks once again for joining me. If you, if you send me some comments on how you think the session went, what you would like to get out of our sessions together. And if you haven't yet, I'm going to ask for you to consider dropping over to the YouTube channel that I've got and just go through some of the video clips that I've got up there, because I've gone through everything that we've gone through this evening. And yeah, consider subscribing and maybe leaving me a couple of comments. If you want to do that, that'll be fantastic. So we're going to be back here next week, same time. And I hope the session went really well for you. That's the whole goal for me, just to make sure you all get something out of it. And yes, we are starting from the ground, and there's only one way to go, and that's up. And this is how we're going to get there. So it's all about improving your technique. So today's session, I guess, really concentrated on just getting all the basics right, naming of everything, fingers, strings, frets, what to use, mainly our fingertips. Make sure you're using our thumb. Just getting used to our strumming and nice even glide across all the strings. And I guess the highlight for me out of this evening is how to practice. That's going to be the most important piece of information I will be able to share with you is when you practice, you don't need to practice for long. You just practice with an intention to really concentrate on what it is you're trying to achieve. For me, that F chord to G7, play your F, and then get your fingers used to moving from one chord to the next. That's the hardest one. Go through the chord progression, C, A minor, F, and G7, and then concentrate on how you're going with your strumming. Really focus on, you know, are you, is your pressure 5 out of 10, or is it 7? Is it 3? And just try and challenge yourself to get it to halfway, get it to 5 out of 10, and just see how long you can stay at that intensity when you're strumming. And with all the areas you need to practice, that's how we're going to rapidly move through getting you from a beginner to, you know, the next level. Any questions? Anyone got anything to say before?
Yeah, Vic, I'm very curious to know those little chords, ornamental chords that you did between the C and the A minor there.
Oh, yes. Let me work those out there. So yeah, they're little fill-in chords.
Mm-hmm.
Here's one for you. I play C, and while I'm playing C, I throw my F chord on top of C, and I'm still playing the C chord. So while I'm playing C, I'm throwing my F chord over it, A minor. Now I've just added my third finger onto the second fret of the first string. So it adds an extra sound for us to an F, G7. And what I did in that last part there on my G7, I went and took my third finger off, played an open A string, and then place it back on there again, and then move to C. So we had the sound.
Thank you. That's nice, thanks.
No problem. We're talking, you know, intermediate stuff now. You're going to be able to do it all. That's my promise. And that's my goal for me. I want to be able to share with you all these things that I do. Just take your time, put in a little bit of practice, and I look forward to seeing you next week.
Ciao, thanks so much.
Send me an email. Send me an email. Please comment. Let me know how you thought the session went.
Yeah. Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
Vic.
Enjoyed it.
It's awesome.
Later.
Ta-da, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye,
you.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Till next
See
week.
you, bye.
Everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Good night. Pour Marie.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you, Vic.
Bye, everybody. Thank
Bye.
you, Vic. Kia ora.
Bye,
You're
Vic.
welcome. See you, everyone. Good night.
Bye, have a nice evening, all of you.
Same.
Bye.